Hey y'all, what's your heart condition? I'm not talking about the condition of your heart as a doctor would look at it on your yearly physical. I'm talking about the way Jesus would look at your heart, the way he's told us to look at our own hearts and to examine ourselves in the Bible. What's the condition of your heart? It's very easy to look at other people's lives and for us to pinpoint their weaknesses or deficiencies. What's hard for us to do is to look at our own lives and to examine our own hearts and make a truthful, honest determination about the condition of our hearts. As we look at the scriptures, Jesus gave us one great tool to determine the condition of our heart. He commanded us to love the Lord our God with all of our heart. He commanded us also to love our neighbor as ourselves. So how can we tell if we're really right in our heart before God? The best indicator of our heart condition are the words that come out of our mouths. When Dana and I first got married, we came from very different backgrounds. My family is a very loud, aggressive, type A kind of family, and when we have issues or conflict, it's always out in the open, and it oftentimes is loud. Dana's family was totally different. They dealt with issues in a different way, in a quiet way. They were more quick to forgive, I think, than we were. But what happened is when Dana and I got married 30 some odd years ago, we began to deal with the issues that all young couples deal with, and struggles and conflicts and all of those things. And I just handled them the way that I had learned how to handle them. I handled them in my loud Marine Corps drill instructor voice, and I learned to win as many arguments as I possibly could. And Dana handled them in her way. She got real quiet and withdrawn. I thought, this is awesome. I'm winning all the arguments. But what I realized was I was winning the arguments, but I was losing my wife. Why? Because my heart was not in the right place. It doesn't matter how many arguments you win if your marriage falls apart. It's not any consolation. I had to learn that what needed to change was me. I needed to learn to listen. I needed to learn to ask for forgiveness. I needed to learn to be considerate. And I needed to learn to admit when I was wrong. Those are all really tough pills to swallow. But they're also indicators of a heart condition. Not long ago, I was counseling with a young couple who came in, and they were having some struggles in their marriage. And I asked the young man, I said, "Do you love your wife?" He said, "Yeah, I do. Without a doubt, I do." I said, "Do you tell her that you love her?" He said, "Oh, well, she knows. I don't need to tell her." I said, "That's where you're wrong. You need to tell her. She needs to hear those words, 'I love you,' come out of your mouth every day, and sometimes multiple times per day. She needs to hear you say, 'I love you,' but you also need to say those words, 'I love you,' because the words are an indicator of your heart." So often in our walk with God, we just assume that, well, God knows everything, and he does. But we excuse all sorts of sin in our lives, internal and external sin, because we're unwilling to say the words that need to be said, to ask for forgiveness, to be the person that we were called to be. Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You see, it's very easy for us to see the splinter in our brother's eye. What we can't see, or often refuse to see, is the beam in our own. We're walking around with a telephone pole in our eye, and we're worried about the little splinter in our brother's eye. Jesus said, handle your own heart, handle your own business, and then you'll be able to help your brother with the splinter in their eye. Notice he didn't say that don't worry about your brother. He said, handle your own business first. Get your heart right first. And then you'll be able to do for your brother, your friend, your family member in Christ. You'll be able to do for them what needs to be done, and you'll be able to do it in the right way. Our words are an indicator of our heart. James says that the little spark that comes from our tongue, it starts a great fire. You know, as I think about so many times in my life that I could hear myself saying words that I wish that I could pull them back into my mouth, even as I was saying them. But once they're out there, they're out there. But to realize that having said those words, that's an indicator of my own heart condition. So then words like, I'm sorry, words like, please forgive me, words like, I need to change, words like, I love you, become so important in our lives, because we're all going to mess up. There's no doubt about that. But what are we going to do when we do mess up? What's your heart condition? Are you willing to allow God to use you, to change you, so that your life will have an impact on the world around you? My prayer is that God will change, heal, and fill your heart with His love. God bless you.